This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Let's talk about Indy Clinton. You're completely across this, Swanee. She's an influencer.
Sure am.
She's a content creator. I'd prefer to use that word.
Is she Australian?
She's an Aussie girl,
Yes.
Northern Beaches. And she is a mother. She's got 3 beautiful kids. And she's decided to take bullying, online bullying and troll-like behaviour into her own hands.
Yes, she has. And how? So Indy Clinton has, millions of followers on TikTok and 650,000 or something on
massive.
Instagram. I just want to give you a vibe check on her. She is a young mum with 3 kids and she is fabulous. Like, she talks about motherhood in a real way.
Right.
I personally find her very hard to see how, you could troll her.
Jealousy.
She's really real. She talks about the messiness of motherhood.
Yep.
She's not curated. She's not put together. She films from her kitchen.
Okay.
Crazy hair. She's really real. And yet she has been mercilessly trolled, defamed, her and her family, her kids, for years. Well,
God.
Sick of waiting for change, she has hired a private investigator privately, which she is paying for herself, and has received from them, after a 3-month investigation into all of these very regular trolls, a 64-page document highlighting exactly who these people are, where they live, what they do, what their names are. And she has this document. She has also opened a new Instagram account called You Are Not Anon.
I love that.
You letter, R letter, not anon. And basically that is a placeholder for whatever she decides to do
talk
next.
about the best way to disarm the bullies and the trolls that in their little dark place from home they sit there trying to pick on someone who's doing something good in her own world and chooses to express herself the way she does.
Can I bring up the debate on the other side, though, and say, what are you going to achieve out of this? Because you can't reveal who the person is, can you? Legally, you wouldn't be able to do that, would you?
No, I don't know about that.
You can. I think you can if you choose to, but there'll be ramifications for that. I know what you're saying, Fitz,
Yes.
but here's the thing. I think laws and sentencing and all of that stuff is taking too long to catch up with what is unfolding in social media, and she is sick of waiting, and I get that.
Do you know,
I've been very fortunate in my career. I have not suffered from this one bit, but I can imagine that if you have one scrap of insecurity or even time on your hands, or and you take seriously what these people are saying to you, I can imagine the ramifications on mental health.
It's very dangerous.
Be extraordinary and devastating and dangerous. And these are grown adults. I hate to think what is going on behind closed doors with our children, and I applaud Indy Clinton for not waiting around for lawmakers to actually enforce this. They've got a lot of other stuff going on.
Yep.
Meanwhile, this is the real world for a lot of people. A lot of people are suffering from this kind of abuse and harassment, and it does have to change. And I believe that this
is a great step forward.
This is day one of
If
change.
someone sits at home and they think, you know what, I'm going to comment, and then they have a moment where they go, oh, you're not anonymous, and people can find out who this is. You completely disarm them. Fitz, you're asking what can they do if they can't legally name them. I've heard of stories like this where someone else has done a similar thing to what Indy Clinton has done, and they then informed their employees.
Yep.
They know the doctors you go to. That in the article it says they know which gynecologist you use, where your kids go to school. This private investigator in the 64-page dossier that's been presented to her knows everything. So this person then, when informed, their workplace, wrote to their boss, showed them examples of what they'd been doing and how they'd been attacking people in their private time, and that obviously then is a serious conversation that needs to take place at work.
Well, then the only thing is that you are stirring up unhinged people who remain anonymous now that you've ruined their life. Then you just don't know where it's going to go next. Oh, don't get me wrong. We have sat in this studio, Whip, and we have seen some of the horrific stuff that has been written to Kate. Kate shows us sometimes what people write to her in direct message. Now, they're the ones that I agree that should be passed on to authorities, and they should be charged. The laws should be stronger on this stuff.
But what Swanee's saying is spot on, because if we can't wait for things to change, and this is a really positive way of getting anybody who thinks about doing this to question their next move.
I agree, and I think also on a really simplistic level, the trolls may not know that what they're doing is against the law. So harassment by carrier service is a real crime.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of these people do it for fun. I don't think that...
Agree.
In a weird way, I really don't think that they're being malicious. I think it's like a hobby for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think
it's
bringing
power.
this out bringing this out in the open may make them go, oh, God, I had no idea. I could go to jail for this. I'm going to stop.
There's a level of ignorance
anyone
to
that
it.
stops this sort of harassment is a step in the
you
right
know,
direction.
the other
It's about
amazing-
education and awareness.
But the other amazing finding was that 95% of the people that have been bullying and trolling were mothers themselves.
Yeah.
I think that was a really surprising statistic.
I agree
I
with this one.
don't.
There's funny, and Twitter is a cesspit of hate. And look, but don't get me wrong, I do like to have a bit of fun with it sometimes, but sometimes I'll have a go back at a troll. And it's so funny to see their reaction that they're like, oh, I didn't know that you were going to reply. I'm a big fan of your show.
Exactly. They all say the same thing. And that makes me think they don't know what they're doing. It's fun. It's fun for them.
It's a sport for them, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
It's escapism.
But go Indy Clinton, power
Yeah,
to you.
amazing
You've got
stuff.
all of our support here at Nova, 100%.
I think she's leading something really strong here.
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.